Let's say good morning to East Hampton Village Mayor Rick Lawler and Deputy Mayor Barbara Borsak paying us a visit, see what's happening in the village. Barbara, how are you?
Great, thanks. How are you, Gary?
I'm doing good. And Rick, good to see
Gary.
you.
Good to be here.
Yep, well, we're in day 2 of phase 1 reopening here, so I guess so far so good, right?
So, at least in the village, so far so good. I mean, as far as I know, things went pretty well yesterday, and of course, the big things for us are construction on the East End, as all everywhere else on the East End, and retail. So those are 2 things that we've been concentrating on and trying to help wherever we can to get those businesses back up and running. And Barbara Borsak has some more information on that for you. So if you want to give that to him, Barbara.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to go over some of the phases for people because I know there are a lot of questions out there. People keep saying to me, well, what is phase 2 and when does this happen? And phase 1, which is where we are now, means construction, agriculture, forestry, fishing, hunting, retail limited to curbside or in-store pickup or drop-off. Manufacturing and wholesale trade is allowed. But phase 2, professional services, retail, full retail, administrative support, real estate, rental and leasing options. Phase 3 is restaurants and food services, but I have to say that the governor is under some pressure to move that up to phase 2. You know, a lot of the local restaurants, this is the time they need to make money, so I think there's a lot of pressure there for the governor to move restaurants into phase 2, so we're kind of standing by and seeing how that happens. And then phase 4 is arts, entertainment, recreation, and education. There's supposed to be 2 weeks between each phase because if the numbers stay steady, then 2 weeks later they'll go to the next phase. If the numbers don't stay steady, then we could go backwards. So this is the time, as I said before, we have to be really vigilant. We have to obey the rules, wear your masks, socially distancing, all that stuff that we've been learning about is so important. You know, keep up the hand hygiene, and we don't want this to flare up again. We don't want the numbers to go up. We want the numbers to stay steady so we can get back to some kind of normal, which we know is not going to be
I think people are getting accustomed to wearing their mask. And,
I think so. Yeah. But it's easy to get complacent too.
That's
so
true.
We got to be careful.
That's right.
So, and it's important to note that as these businesses open, they have to have a safety plan conspicuously posted in the business. And for more guidance, they can Google New York Forward, and the website will come up with more guidance. For example, in that website, you'll see a summary of all the guidelines that they'll need to know in order to open safely. They'll have to read and affirm more specific guidelines, and at the end, as I said, there'll be an affirmation that they've read and understand those guidelines, and that should be posted conspicuously. And again, there's a safety plan template, so they can bring that up on the website, fill that out, and have that somewhere posted conspicuously in the business, so it will help the employees and customers as well. And as part of that, they'll need to have, as part of their plan, guidelines for screening their employees, in some cases taking temperature, asking the normal questions. Have you been, you think you've been exposed, and do you have a fever? Do you feel ill? And so that'll all be part of their plan, and what to do if an employee comes in and they are feeling ill or they have to be sent home. They'll be sent home to see their own doctor and then possibly quarantine for 14 days before they can come back to work. So those are all important things that they needed to know in order to open safely. And I think pretty much everybody has been listening and hearing what we've been saying for the last couple of weeks, and everybody else. And I'm sure that there may be a few little misunderstandings here and there that we might have to, or they might have to adjust, but I think I'm anticipating that there'll be a smooth transition. At least so far, everybody has paid attention to what they should be doing up to this point, and so I'm looking forward to a smooth transition. As far as construction, a little bit different requirement there is that they should keep a log of who's on the construction site, so that if there is an incidence of COVID or somebody becoming ill, at least there's a tracer to show who they've been in contact with, so that they'll know who to contact and who may have been exposed. So that's an important factor to remember there if you're in construction. So if you have any other questions, you can also go to that New York Forward website, and there's a whole group of frequently asked questions that would have a lot of answers for anybody that needs to get that kind of information. So what we're doing as a village to kind of help with this reopening is we're putting our village benches back out. Not all of them right away. We're going to start with about half of them, so that if customers are going to pick up in a store and for some reason they can't get in because there's another customer in there, they'll have a place to sit and wait. But we're asking them to maintain social distance. So, we don't want the benches filled up, preferably one person to a bench unless you're in the same family, and again, be wearing a mask and that sort of thing. So we don't want to encourage large groups, large gatherings of people, but we do want to make it convenient for people who are waiting to get access to a store for some reason. And it's important to note that we are going to have pick-up and drop-off points within the village, which will be designated hopefully today. We're having the signs made up as I speak. So if not today, at least by tomorrow. So that's an important factor. But you will also be able to go into the store to pick up, but no shopping allowed while you're in there, just to pick up what you've ordered on the internet or by phone. So there'll be no ability to try on clothes or that sort of thing. So people should be aware of that. Reminder for restaurants, when they open up, as again, that's been phase 3, but it may be coming sooner than we anticipate. Nobody knows at this point, but we'll be looking for some guidance there. But restaurants should know that this off-premise sale of liquor should be accompanied by sale of food. In other words, you just can't go in and order, some liquor and be able to leave with it. It has to be accompanied by sale of food. But I think pretty much, as far as I can see, everybody's been on board with that, and as far as I know, there haven't been any violations of that. Gyms and spas, we have a few of those in the village. They have not been designated in any of the phases, so we're looking for guidance on that, and hopefully they'll be able to open up soon. Again, we've been asking for guidance and haven't got any yet, but we're expecting some very soon on that. Wineries, although we don't have any in the village, but for those wineries that may be listening, they are in phase 1, but only the wine portion of it. The tasting rooms are not due to open until phase 3, so that's an important thing for the public to know as well. And I think that's pretty much all that we have so far for that. But to get back to our beaches, we've been very fortunate. We haven't had the issues that I know that Southampton has had. I guess we haven't had the fish running on our ocean beaches, so that's been lucky for us. Yeah. But we have had issues where small groups of people have been gathering after hours in the parking lots and not maintaining social distance. The police have been dealing with that. We haven't had to issue any summonses at this point. Everybody's been pretty cooperative, so we're thankful for that, and I would encourage cooperation from the public going forward. We are going to expand our parking at Main Beach just a little bit to give more people an opportunity, but again, you'll have to have the proper permit. If you don't, you'll risk being ticketed, and if we start to get overwhelmed there, then we will go back to limiting the parking a little bit more. So again, we've been very fortunate there that people have been abiding by the guidelines, and we've had enough staff to be able to direct people in and out of portions of locker room and restrooms there. So we've been, again, very fortunate there. Again, a few things generally that people should know, just to be aware of. New York State sales tax, the yearly end that was due on March 20th, it was extended for 100 days till the end of June without penalty. Property taxes that are due June 1st have been extended 21 days till June 22nd, and we're looking to see if they could be extended another 45 days. Now, that's for your town taxes, of course. Our village taxes are not due until the end of August, and we're still looking for guidelines that they would be extended another 21 days, and we're hoping that will be the case since they did it for the town taxes. And I think that's about it, other than the usual. Again, seems to be an issue disposing of gloves and masks. If people would just remember to do that, that would be a huge help, and be courteous to others. And I think that for the most part, in our village anyway, people have been courteous, and it's been very successful, and I want to thank the public for doing that.
That's good. Well, let's see what next week brings, Barbara. Hopefully.
Well, we're printing signs now that we're going to be distributing to the businesses about about people wearing masks and the number of people allowed in the store, and I saw that there was a problem at Ted's in Southampton.
Right, that little threat situation there by an unknown person.
People have to understand that they have rights, but when you go onto private property, that property owner has rights too, and they can refuse to let you in. So, you have to follow the rules. You have to be kind, and we need to be gracious to each other, and try to all get through this together as easily as possible. So.
All right. Well, it sounds good. We appreciate you coming by. East Hampton Village Mayor Rick Lawler, Deputy Mayor Barbara Borsak. Have a nice weekend. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you so much, Gary.
Great day.
You're
Thanks
quite
again.
welcome.